Are you trying to learn English? And are you constantly trying to figure out ways you can build up your vocabulary? If you answered yes to both of these questions, then stay right there because this video is just for you. If it's your first time bumping into my channel, my name is Annie and I'm a booktuber from the Philippines. Anyway, once in a while I also post videos about learning English simply because I love it so much. That is why today I'll be sharing 5 tips that have helped me develop and improve my vocabulary. Now don't worry, these tips are not difficult to do. I've been doing them for a long time now and they have been blessing my life. So before we proceed, let's talk about vocabulary first. What is vocabulary? So by definition, vocabulary is simply a body of words in a language known to you. Simply put, these are words that you know. So why is this important? Oh my goodness, we can never ever underestimate how important this is. Words, my friends, are the currency of communication. Having a wide and a robust vocabulary is an asset. It can help you and bless you in all areas of communication, whether you're listening, speaking, reading, or writing. So now without further ado, let's proceed with the 5 tips that I want to share with you guys. Tip number 1. I think this is the most important because it's so hard to proceed with the other tips if you do not do this first. Number 1 is to have a motivation. Me, for example, what motivates me to learn English? Well, personally, I don't like feeling limited. Of course, I'm not perfect, as I mentioned, but I feel stuck when I don't know what a word means. Whenever I'm trying to explain something or describe something, there are times that I would feel so challenged because I don't know what to call a certain thing. But I use that to motivate me to push myself to exert the effort that I need so that I can learn this language. And you know guys, having that motivation really makes you feel that learning English is not a chore. It doesn't feel like a burden. Alright, now let's move on to tip number 2. Know your sources. Regularly ask yourself, okay, where do I go so that I can find new words? What resources, what references will be helpful to me? Words to me are like nuggets of gold. They're treasure. Now, if you want some treasure in your life, you don't just sit right there and wait. You have to go and find these treasures. An excellent source would have to be right there, books. Yes, my friends, books are super important. They're super helpful. I don't think I've ever read a book without finding a new word or a new phrase or a new expression. There's always something new. Also, you can learn a lot of new words by watching movies. You know, watching TV shows, cartoons. I love cartoons so much. What else? Listening to music. There's so many available resources that can help you. No, I'm not promoting excessive use of gadgets and technology. I'm just saying that you can entertain yourself while learning new words at the same time. Tip number 3, keep a notebook. It doesn't matter whether you choose a big one or a small one or even your phone. It doesn't matter as long as you have some place to write down the new words that you meet every day. Some people disregard this because, you know, it takes a lot of time to write down actual words. But for me, this is really helpful because I do not always trust my brain. I would often forget what new words I learned if I do not write them down. The notes section of my phone is actually filled with words that I encountered while reading or watching a movie or I don't know, just anywhere. I would write them down immediately so that I will not forget. The next tip is somehow related and supplementary to the previous one, and that is to always keep a dictionary. You can either go for online dictionaries or download an app so that even without the internet, you can still use it. It's really up to you. As long as you always have the dictionary with you, you can never go wrong. Dictionaries help us not just with the meaning of the words, but with the pronunciation of the words. So whenever I'm unsure of how to pronounce a certain word, I would just open my dictionary, look at the transcriptions and read the symbols, and I would instantly get how to say it. But if you don't know how to read the IPA symbols at the moment, that's totally okay because anyone can learn it. Or you can also go for dictionaries with the audio option. In that case, you can actually hear someone pronounce the word. And last but not the least, tip number 5. You have to practice. You have to find ways to apply and use the words that you're learning. Oftentimes people would, you know, write down the words, look up the meaning, and then they would just no more, forget about it. But if you apply and use the words that you're learning, the more that they will stick to your brain and the more naturally they will come out in times when you want to use them. When you find ways to use and apply these words in your life, they become relevant. And when something is relevant, it sticks. So those were the 5 tips that have helped me. Just to give you a brief recap, tip number 1 is to have a motivation. Always think of the reason why you're doing this. Number 2 is to begin your search. Identify your resources. Where can you find new words? Number 3, as soon as you find new words, you write them down. Number 4, have a dictionary with you so that you can look up their meanings and their pronunciation. And number 5 is find a way to use it. If I may just add maybe a 5.5 tip, and that is to just make sure you review your notes. Because if you just keep on adding and adding new words and you don't go back and review your notes, you may have a tendency to forget the previous things that you've learned. Okay? So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you want more videos like this, don't forget to hit the red subscribe button down below so that you'll be notified and updated for my next videos. Also, if you have other tips that were not mentioned in this video or just practices that you've seen are effective in your life, please go ahead, write them down in a comment section below because other people will read your comments and they will be very grateful for them. I will be very grateful. So again, thank you guys for watching and I will see you in my next video. Bye!